I'm Helga from Helga's Pennsylvania Cooking, and today's going to be kind of a unique episode for you. I'm doing stuffed mushrooms, and I've done them before, actually a couple years ago, but this is going to be a little bit different. That's an awesome recipe, one of my favorites. But today, I was asked to do a collaboration with Papa Texas. It's Papa Texas, and MD's Country Cooking, and they wanted to do stuffed mushrooms. Now, Papa uses a variation of my recipe that I made a couple years ago, and so I'm going to show you two new stuffed mushrooms recipes. Stuffed mushrooms two ways. I'm going to do a crab stuffed mushroom because that makes my Mike and my mom really deliriously happy, even if I can't eat them, because I use real crab meat for the crab stuffed mushrooms. And then I'm going to do a stuffing filled mushroom. This is actually Mike's mom's recipe. Very simple, but it's really good in its own way. Not quite as fancy, but simple and hearty, and has really good earthy flavors. I love working with mushrooms. I'm using baby portobellos today for all of my stuffed mushrooms. It's my mushroom of choice. And if you guys don't know it, here in Pennsylvania, we produce most of the country's mushrooms here in Pennsylvania. If you buy canned mushrooms, look for Giorgio. They're local mushrooms that are canned here in southern PA. And the mushrooms I'm using today are fresh mushrooms that are Green Giant fresh mushrooms, but they come here from Blandon, PA. So check the source of your mushrooms. You know, US is best, if at all possible. So check your mushrooms, and when you have really good mushrooms and they're from Pennsylvania, hey, we produce some of the best stuff. So, but that is actually one of Pennsylvania's biggest crops, is our mushrooms. So, once again, this is a collaboration with Papa Texas and MD's Country Cooking. And I'm going to show you crab stuffed mushrooms first, and then we're going to do the filling stuffed mushrooms. Okay, so for the crab stuffed mushrooms, basically I'm going to take my crab cake recipe, and that's basically what I'm using in my crab stuffed mushrooms, with the addition of some cream cheese. So I'll show you what goes into that. You know, we have the nice portobello mushrooms. I have the stems out. Normally I don't save the stems, but I am today because I'll be using the stems in the stuffed filled mushrooms. So we have the fresh portobello mushrooms. Like I said, I'm saving the stems for the filling stuffed ones because I use that in the filling. Have some Old Bay, a teaspoon of Old Bay, some cream cheese, baking powder, salt, parsley, Worcestershire sauce, 1 beaten egg, a tablespoon of mayo, and some panko breadcrumbs. That's going to be a feel thing. And then I have a pound of the good crab meat. Imitation doesn't work the same for this. I mean, it tastes good, but it isn't flaked the same, so it's not quite the same as the real stuff. But I have used imitation, and I've used imitation to do crab cakes too. Not quite the same for the folks that are used to the real deal, but for me, that's about as good as it gets. But Mom and Mike will be eating these all up. So first we'll add in my crab meat. And my 1 beaten egg, and my little bit of salt, 1 tablespoon of parsley flakes, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and a tablespoon of mayo, tablespoon of baking powder, teaspoon of Old Bay, and I'm going to give this a quick mix. Like I said, this is my basic crab cake recipe. You know, if you want it a little creamier, you can add more. If you want a little more bite, you can add the more Worcestershire sauce. It's all about the balance you want. If you want a little bit more Old Bay, but you don't want to overdo it. It's easy to overdo the mild crab meat. Okay, I'm going to add in some cream cheese. Just give it a nice creaminess in the, I don't add cream cheese to my crab cakes, but for the stuffed mushrooms, it brings a nice creamy element to it. And I'll add the rest here. That's probably about 4 to 6 ounces. Get this all mixed in nice. And then I'm going to add some panko, breadcrumb. And I honestly, I don't know, I do it to, I'm going to guess it's probably going to take about a cup to have the consistency that I want. Because I want it to be nice and moist. You don't want too much filler. Yeah, 1 good heaping cup, I'm going to say. That looks to be about right. But this is what you want it to look like. You know, you want it to be nice and moist and creamy. I always have to rely on Mike to tell me how this turns out because, of course, I can't taste it. But I know by smell and by look how it ought to be. But we'll do the taste test and they'll let you know if I passed or not. So, here's our crab stuffing. And like I said, it makes great crab cakes. I just don't put in the cream cheese for the crab cakes. Now, we're going to stuff our mushrooms. These are coated in oil and ready to go. And I'm doing half a tray with the crab, and then I'm going to do the other half a tray with the filling. And the big part of this, I gotta remember I can't lick my fingers. Okay, so there's the half a tray made up with the crab stuffed. And there's a little bit left over because I'm only doing half a tray, but a pound made a good solid half a tray. With just a little bit left over, and I'm going to throw that in a crock and make some crab dip with it. Okay, so my filling stuffed mushrooms are really simple. I just have some whole wheat cubed up bread for the filling. I'm going to dice these up fine, the stems from the portobello mushrooms. Some cheese, whatever I feel will fit in. My base for the broth is going to be my Better Than Bouillon beef base. You can use the vegetable base as well. I like the beef, it gives a little bit heartier flavor. But you know, during Lenten season, and both of these mushroom recipes are great for Lenten season. During Lenten season, just use the vegetable base instead of the beef base, and it's perfectly fine. And my steak and burger seasoning, which is, you know, your garlic and pepper and salt and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get this around and we'll put this together. Okay, so got my bread here. Here's my minced up mushrooms, the stems. Throw them in. Just give them a little toss. I'm gonna throw in my seasoning. And then I have a big cup here of beef broth. If I need to add a little bit more water, I will. Moisten this up nice. I think I'm going to add a little bit more water. So 2 big cups. Some of this is feel, you know, I never measured this stuff. That was one of the challenges of doing a channel was I've been cooking for years without recipes. So then I'm going to add some cheese. This is cheddar cheese. You can add what you like, but this will give it some nice richness. And that's all there is to it. It's simple, but it's pretty hearty and really brings out the mushroom. And let's stuff our mushrooms. And let's stuff them up. Good part about these, I can eat these. At least I can eat some of them when they come out. And there we go. They're all stuffed. So now they go in the oven, and then the good part happens.
Takes good.
And they're done. There's the crab stuffed ones. Michael will have to do the taste test for you on that one. Let's see how they are. And then here are the filling stuffed ones. I know they don't look impressive, but they taste good. Okay, so the mushrooms are out. I can't do the crab ones. Mike's going to do the crab ones for you. But I can do these ones for you. And these are the filling stuffed. And get them up here. You can see the cheese in them. And I know they're not the prettiest, but as long as they taste good, that's all that counts, right? So they're still warm. I'm going to cut this one in half. Oh, they're so good. I think I need the other one. Really highlights the mushroom. Little taste of cheddar. Yummy. And like I said, this is a really good recipe for during the Lenten season. We're past that right now, but both of these will be great for the Lenten season. Instead of using beef broth in these, just use the vegetable beef. Just use the vegetable broth, and you're good to go. It's really, really yummy. It's Moorish.
I have to try both.
No, I tried the other ones.
Oh, the other thing.
Yeah. So here are the crab stuffed mushrooms out of the oven, and Mike is going to be nice enough. I'm a scrum mechanic. Give it a try. That's just one of my fathers. I tried the other mushrooms.
What if I don't like them and they suck?
Then you'll be edited out of this segment. Oh, sure.
They're good.
Seriously, what do you think of them?
They're good. Very good.
They're like I make my crab cakes.
The crab cakes were very good. The crab cakes were kick butt.
The only addition really to this is adding cream cheese with the filling for the stuffed mushrooms.
Yep, very good.
So this was a collaboration with Papa Texas. It's Papa Texas, and MD's Country Cooking. Like I said, Papa had done my original cheesy stuffed mushrooms here a couple years ago. Check him out. Check out his channel. He does quite a bit of cooking vids now and then, and MD is really stepping up his game with the cooking vids, doing some.
Second one.
Yeah, I can't eat them. They're all yours.
Well, it's not a bad thing.
Well, except for Mom. Save
I
one
do
for
too.
Mom. So, anyhow, there you go. There's my stuffed mushrooms two ways. They're both suitable for Lent. If you want to zip up the filling stuffed ones a little bit, add some bacon, you can do that, or whatever you wish to pep it up. But like I said, these are good Lent recipes as well. So if you want to see how I do my crab cakes. It's basically this filling, just minus the cream cheese. But if you do want to see how to do that, I can include the recipe for that as well down the road. So there you go. Stuffed mushrooms for the day.
There they went.
Like, subscribe, and join me next time here in Helga's Pennsylvania Cooking.